Hello, I'm Bishop Garland, and this is the Power of Hope devotional. And let me ask you a question. Is going back to slavery an option for you? Is going back to slavery an option for you? Now, yeah, you think I'm talking about slavery because I'm black. Actually, I'm talking about spiritual slavery, actually, right now. Now, I am, because there are things that you've been freed from. You're free from maybe drugs. You're free from cigarettes. You're free from old habits. You're free from lying and stealing. You're free from these things. But you may be free from a promiscuity. You're free from those things. But have you ever been tempted that you want to go back to that slavery? You want to go back to the slavery. You want to enjoy the slavery because it was more profitable for you while you were there. You enjoyed yourself more. You seem like you had more friends there. It seems like Christians are too boring. You know, all these things that you say you had more loyalty. So you end up idolizing your past and you end up wanting to go back. Inwardly, you still want to go back to slavery where you are free. It says, who the Son sets free is free indeed. So you want to leave your freedom and go back to slavery? That's what the children of Israel were doing. They were very upset with Moses because they said, Moses, you are leading us out. And now Pharaoh's heart was hardened. So they really could go. They left. He let them go. It was just amazing how this thing happened. That they actually even took spoils and they were rich. Just all these things took place as they left out. But then I'll go right behind that. The Lord changed Pharaoh's heart, and he said, "No, I'm coming after you." So they could literally see Pharaoh and his chariots and his horses and all these people coming after him, and they recognized, man, we're going to be destroyed. So they began to ask questions to Moses. And they said things like, as Pharaoh approached, the people of Israel looked up and perished and panicked. And they said, the Egypts are overtaking them. They cried to the Lord and to Moses, said, why did you bring us here in the wilderness to die? Why did you bring us here to the wilderness to die? He didn't take them to die. He was taking them to freedom. He was taking them to the promised land. But in their minds, they felt like they were about to die because the Pharaoh was on his way. And they said, weren't there enough graves for us in Egypt? In other words, why could not I have gone back and at least we had graves there? I'd rather go back to Egypt and be buried in a grave than to die out here in the wilderness. And he says, what have you done to us? Why did you make us leave Egypt? They were under bondage and slavery. But because things were uncomfortable and because things were not as they wanted and they were in fear, they preferred, why did you let us leave slavery? See, there it says, so didn't we tell you this would happen? Didn't we tell you this would happen while we were still in Egypt? And so we said, leave us alone. Let us be slaves in Egypt. It's better to be a slave in Egypt than a corpse in the wilderness. That's the problem. See, you cannot think that it's better to be bound to drugs or bound to cigarettes or bound to old friends, untrusting friends, the people that you could not trust, the people, the relationships. Oh, some of you it's relationships. Some of you want to date an unsaved person because in your mind you feel like at least I got some company. So you want to go back to unequal yoke. You don't want to wait for God, but you want to go back to unequal yoke. So therefore, you still want to go back to slavery where you were bound in unequal yoke relationship. Well, actually, you probably were equal because both of you were sinners. See, you live with men. You did all these things. Or man, the same thing. You think, well, when I was a Casanova in the past, but now, I'm all boring. No, man, but in the day, you were a slave. In the day you were a slave, now God's called you to walk. And so as a result, Moses cried out to God in the same way. And you know what he told him? He said, man, get up and go forward. Get up and move the people forward. And that's been my theme actually for the year. Move forward. Get up and move forward and stop crying to me. I'm telling you right now, God is doing a great thing among us. Listen, do not go back to slavery. Walk in the freedom of the promised land. Listen to me. Don't go back. Go forward. I thank you so much. This is Bishop Garland. This is the Power of Hope Devotional. I'll talk to you next time.